Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our presentation on the comprehensive analysis of verbal behavior and language properties. Today, we'll be diving into the fascinating world of language, exploring its formal structures, how it functions in communication, and the various therapeutic interventions that can enhance effective communication. I'm excited to take you through these important concepts that bridge theory and practice in language use. Let's get started. When we talk about the formal properties of language, we're looking at the structure itself. Things like phonemes, which are the basic sounds, syntax, or how words are arranged, and morphology, which deals with the formation of words. For example, the word water is a formal property because it's a specific combination of sounds that we recognize as that word. On the other hand, functional properties are all about what language actually does, its purpose, and the effect it has. For instance, when someone says water to ask for a drink, they're using language functionally to influence behavior. So, while the formal aspect is about the form, the functional aspect is about how language is used and what it achieves. Here, we classify verbal relations based on what controls them. First, we have the mand, which is driven by motivating operations and specific needs or desires. For example, asking for food when you're hungry is a classic mand. Next is the tact, which is controlled by nonverbal stimuli in the environment, like labeling an object you see, say, calling a dog dog. Then there's the intraverbal, which involves verbal behavior controlled by other verbal stimuli, without making direct reference to what's around you. This comes into play when you answer questions or keep a conversation going. Lastly, we have the autoclitic, a type of verbal behavior that modifies or clarifies other verbal behavior, shaping how our messages are understood or emphasizing certain points. These categories help us understand the different ways language functions depending on what influences it. Autoclitic relations are verbal behaviors that modify or enhance other verbal responses, adding important nuance and structure to our communication. For example, autoclitic mands are types of requests that help clarify or adjust what's being said. Something like asking what do you mean is an autoclitic mand because it seeks more information to better understand the message. On the other hand, autoclitic tacts are comments that reflect the speaker's attitude toward their own speech. Phrases like, I think, or perhaps signal uncertainty or a particular perspective. Then we have intraverbal autoclitic frames, which are verbal patterns that shape meaning within conversation, helping to control how the dialogue flows and how the content is interpreted. Altogether, these autoclitic relations are essential tools that refine and give context to our communication, making it clearer and more effective. Intraverbal behavior refers to verbal responses that are controlled by other verbal stimuli, and it plays a crucial role in our ability to engage in meaningful conversations. When assessing intraverbal skills, we focus on several key areas. First, we look at how accurate a person's verbal responses are when given specific verbal prompts. It's also important to determine whether their correct answers depend on prompts or cues, as true conversational skills should generalize across different settings and partners without heavy prompting. For intervention, we use strategies that build verbal chains, meaning each response connects logically to the previous verbal cue, helping to create more natural conversation flow. We work on expanding the range of spontaneous and more complex verbal responses, encouraging flexibility in communication. Specifically, accuracy is critically assessed to ensure responses truly match the verbal prompt given. At the same time, we evaluate prompt dependency, seeing if the individual relies too much on cues to respond correctly. Ultimately, our intervention goal is to enhance functional communication, enabling individuals to interact flexibly and effectively in everyday conversations. This approach starts by using functional analysis to pinpoint exactly where verbal skills have been impacted due to injury or illness. Once we understand these deficits, we use intensive prompting to encourage any kind of verbal response, no matter how small. From there, we shape communication by reinforcing gradual steps toward meaningful speech. Even minimal verbal output is positively reinforced to motivate continued progress. The main goal of therapy here isn't to achieve flawless language, but to restore practical communication skills that enhance the individual's quality of life.